Hello, everyone. I have this wonderful opportunity to invite Swami Nitya Bodhananda Saraswati for a discussion about the Vedas. Welcome, Swamiji.
Namaste. Namaste.
Namaste. So, Guruji, this is an auspicious date, it is a Uttara Nakshatra, Uttara Falguni Nakshatra, which is always upwards. And Uttara, means the north, and northwards or upwards. And it's a very auspicious time to discuss these things. And I've been always thinking about spirituality, or anybody who comes to me for astrology, consultations, they're bound to ask me something about spirituality. But we are in the materialistic world and you are on the other side. So, I mean, the way you perceive things is going to be totally different. For us, it is mostly an intellectual exercise. Because we are only going to ask, when am I going to buy a house? When am I going to get married? When is my child arriving? These kind of questions. Whereas you're going to speak something where you might even go on to say that all this is Maya. And you don't have to go after these things. Okay, so we are on different sides, but astrology connects us because astrology connects the normal materialistic person with spirituality. So though we are on either side, we have lots to do in common because it's always something to do with the pursuit of happiness. So to begin with, can you give us a small introduction on how you started this great journey?
So first of all, namaste to all of you. And my journey started in the year 1986. In my family, I was born where my grandfather was a spiritual person. And he created a temple. A lot of sadhus used to come. Swami Chinmayananda used to visit. Bhagavad Father Sringeri Shankaracharya, Abhinav Vidyatirthi with Bharati Tirthi visited. And at that time, I was 15 years old and we did Pada Puja to him. So I got interested into Vedanta very early years of my age. And then I got out of the house, joined Chinmaya Mission initially, and studied with Swami Chinmayananda, Chinmaya Mission, Swami Kesavananda, Vedanta. This is how I started.
Swamiji, what is your opinion about astrology? Because we know astrology came down from the sages, from the Maharshis.
Astrology is a Upanga. Jyotisha is always considered. So all the Vedic rituals through the Mahurta and all those things are considered very important. Nakshatra, as you yourself said today, Uttar Phalguni Nakshatra today, very good time. So everything was Jyotisham, Shiksha, Kalpa, Vyakarana, Jyotisham. Then that is a part of our Vedas. Jyotish in itself, predictive astrology, so to say, is also a very big science, the rishis, Parashara and all. But to my mind, that is pertaining to this body-mind sense complex. So definitely in karma pradhana world, artha kama is the pradhana, dharma is the pradhana. So one has to really take to the moksha purushartha, the parama purushartha. For that parama purushartha, for the development of the mind, everything is required. Even at the level of the body-mind sense complex, because sharira madhyam khalu dharma sadhanam. The body is the means for the dharma to be done. And therefore, one has to be doing things very beautifully. To do that, he has to employ all the sciences to understand himself well. But the purpose of it should be to attain the ultimate end of life. So astrology also is beneficial. But what is the real purpose? Are you very curious to know about future? Is that the only purpose? What will happen in my life? Why you are asking what you are asking has to be really thought about. The prioritizing of the goals and aims and objectives of life is the first thing. And that is what if one is able to really fix up. Gita says Nishchayatmika Vyavasayatmika Buddhi, which means Nishchayatmika Buddhi means Eka, means ascertaining what is the real purpose of life. That clarity of purpose is Vyavasayatmika Buddhi talked of in the Gita. That all the four Purushartha, Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha, that Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha, they are looking like a four ends. But through all the four ends, you are seeking yourself. Through Dharma, you are seeking mukti from papa. Punya prapti, mukti from papa. Sukha prapti, mukti from dukkha. Is Kama Purushartha. Artha Purushartha is seeking security, mukti from insecurity. And Moksha Purushartha is seeking freedom from all the limitations one has. So all the four, basically what you are seeking is mukti. And that seeking from Dharma, Artha, Kama, you are seeking outside of this. Whereas ultimately, once you understand that you are the very center of the universe, you are the very basic center point, the me, that has to be really understood. What is mukti, what is moksha is to be understood. The nature of the problem has to be understood. Then only the nature of the solution will become clear.
Thank you, Swamiji. In astrology, we have been doing research, we have done this research on the horoscopes of saints. And we find somehow the combinations written 5,000 years ago, those combinations are present in the yogis also. So does that not prove that even to become, or even to get into the spiritual path, or the true spiritual path, giving up everything and going towards moksha requires that one has to have a particular type of horoscope to reach there?
That is true. You see, the model of astrology, what your chart depicts, is in consonance with the model of karma. Your own karma, which you have done over the lifetimes, is depicted in your chart, in your horoscope. The birth time, the place, the parentage, everything is fixed. So to say that what is this jiva has come for, what is he destined for, and that outer situation from where he had left his journey, where it will be conducive for his further growth, that is determined. So therefore, it is not that horoscope is separate, that you are just like that born in a certain time. You had that kind of a karma, that you took this yoni, that you are born in this parentage. Everything is almost determined by your own karma.
So if that is true, all those who attempt to get spirituality, to get the spiritual knowledge, the final, the goal of the ultimate, all that, will it not be a futile exercise for many who do not have these combinations, that they only will make an attempt at it and may never be able to be in it and obtain this wonderful, the knowledge that finally gives one salvation?
So this lifetime is a minuscule in all the lifetimes added. So we are prarabdha in this lifetime, whatever is done through dharma, the dharma will produce punya, and through that punya, the grace of Ishvara happens. That is why in Vivek Chudamani they said, no, Durlabham trayame vaitat Deva nugraha hetukam manusyatvam mumukshutvam mahapurusha samshayah. These three are very rare. What are the three rare things? Manusyatvam, human body, manliness. After that you are really a man. My mumukshutvam, desire for liberation, desire for that freedom. and Mahapurusha Samshaya. So all these three things are, it is said, Deva Anugraha Hetukam. Anugraha, the grace, it happens because of the grace. How grace? Bhagavan is not partial that he will give grace to Dilip ji and not to the other person. Grace is earned. Grace is a self-effort which you are putting through your lifetimes. And in one lifetime, that dharma, karma goes on. So therefore, because Manushya Yoni is mixture of punya and papa. In that mixture of punya and papa, that definitely there are choices which one can make, right choices. That is why Gayatri Mantra is there to make right choices. So you can very well access to that punya and get the grace and go to the path, because it is not that everything is already destined and everything. There is a choice, because that is why you can choose at a particular point of time this or that.
Is there the possibility that when a person meets, or just because the person has met the right guru, a sudden transformation can happen even though the horoscope may not indicate it? Is there a possibility?
Possibility in terms of punya paripaka, the grace. The grace is that, so there is one prabala prarabdha. Astrologer, so this is going to happen. Nobody can change.
Okay.
And in certain ways, that prabala prarabdha, there is a thing wherein with your self-effort, with your upasana, with the karma, you can change it. That is why even in Graha Shanti, in your astrology, you can change the course of things through doing certain karma in a certain manner. Isn't it? Yes. Prashna is there. So Prashna will determine what all you have done till the period of time now. So that you know this is what is. It is not the birth chart. Prashna Kundli takes into account till now whatever you have done. So that means action, karma is very, very important aspect. And if you are putting more and more effort, upasana, bhakti, shraddha, all that will be taken into account, and your future course of life events will change.
With regard to the meeting of Angulimal with the Buddha, even after Angulimal had committed such a huge amount of sin, because he has killed many people, and just because he had this opportunity that the Buddha, once he crossed the path of the Buddha, and then something happened, and overnight Angulimal, the murderer, became the monk. So even when a person does extremely bad, is there a possibility that when he meets up a very powerful guru, that the entire thing can be cancelled and that he could go for salvation? Because the Buddha had mentioned to Ananda, his closest disciple, that Angulimal will get salvation. This will be his last birth. Though when Ananda asked him, he said, no, you will have to go for some more births. If we have such possibilities, then can you let us know that if there is an allowance for such event in life?
Yes, you see, as I said, prarabdha, this yoni, human yoni, is the mixture of punya and papa. So because of his past papa karma, he was engaged in a certain kind of karma. Also, he had an equal measure of punya. That punya, when that karma was over, that punya got him the right master, which totally changed the course of.
So though it appears to us that he accidentally met the Buddha, it was not so. Okay.
Because nothing can happen without, every effect has a cause associated. Yeah?
Thank you.
So therefore, all types of karmas are there. And what karma is taking place when? So that is why salvation is such a big thing. Suddenly a monster will become a deva. A Rakshasa becomes a deva. It's not possible. It's not only that was his heart was pure. Once he understood whatever he was doing because of some karma only. Ultimately, integrity of the mind, something he really saw to it that that is what is more important in life. What is he seeking? He went to and asked his people that, are you there with me? Will you share this, Papa? They said no. Immediately it struck to him like a thunderbolt. Oh my God, what am I doing? Who am I living for? All that questions, because of that thinking happened. For that thinking to happen, he must have had that good punya, that kind of a mind which can think through.
Thank you, Guruji. In Vedas, we have always heard people saying something like not this, or there are several ways to refute what we call as reality, because we are living in this world as far the human, I mean, the normal human being is concerned. We are living in the world of reality, and we are telling them that there is something else which they can't see. So how can one get started in this journey when there is no evidence which is not directly perceivable by normal logics? That if you say that there is this, there is something else which is not which one cannot grasp, which one cannot directly prove, so how can we trust that there is something else? Because people always say, I can trust what I am seeing and what is in front of me. This is the experience I'm going through. This is the reality that I know of. Then we are telling them that this is not real, not even this, not even this, not this, not this.
Initially, you see, in the journey, in the life journey, generally, you don't teach the point what is real and what is not real. First is what I am doing and why I am doing what I am doing. The Purushartha Nishchaya is the first aspect. It's a growth of a child to a human being, and then so in our ashramas also there's a growth. Is there brahmacharya ashram, grahastha ashram, vanaprastha ashram, sannyasa ashram. These ashramas are there because of the psychological growth of a human mind. So brahmacharya is the learning aspect. Even if we are not learned, then grahastha, the karma kanda aspect is taken up. Then vanaprastha, when you lived your life, you are vanaprastha ashrama, you are doing upasana. Then sannyasa is ultimate understanding. Your question is how tangible and intangible this, whether I don't say that. It is not immediately you will start talking Vedanta, real and unreal. Purushartha Nishchaya, what is the purpose of my life? What I am seeking? That is the first thing. And Satsanga is the beginning. Satsanga is the beginning. Vinu Satsanga Vivekana Hoi. Ramcharitmanas, Tulsidaji, right? Without Satsanga, this discriminating faculty, this discrimination, this Viveka is not born. And Rama Krita Bina Sulabhana Soy. Without the grace of Bhagavan, Lord Rama, he says, you don't get. So grace is again a self-effort. So therefore, once you are living your life dharmically, dharma, karma, when you do in dharma, keeping your ragadvesha apart, dharma means what is to be done, what is not to be done. What you are supposed to do at a given point of time, at a given point of space, at a given point of a role, what role you are following, all that matters. Therefore, are you able to live according to your conscience? The conscience that society expects from you, what you expect from the society, same they expect from you. Are you able to follow this very basic norms of life living? That will determine, are you able to handle the pressures of ragatpeshas? You know, Rama, he abandoned Sita. So he was following the role of king over the role of husband. It was a big decision. He loved Sita, no fault of it. But listening to the whole subject, he took the decision as a king. Why? Because king was a higher role. Everybody was included in that, the whole, not one small family. not one small society, not one small state, one full country. So he went through that. He had tyaga, the total tyaga of his beloved, which is very big sacrifice. Harishchandra for keeping the vow which was given to Vishwamitra. The kind of life he went through after that, just to keep that word, what he has given. That is the importance of living dharmically. Once you follow dharma to every dot and crossing all the T, that is what is talked about in living a life of dharma, that you gain the maturity of the mind and the real contemplative quotient becomes to you think and you approach. And then you will in the bosom with this, in your bosom, this Advaita Vasana will come. And then you go to a teacher. And not then and here, maturity itself will decide when will it happen. So that it is not mere simple question. Viveka will come through living, and now without satsang, nothing will happen.
Satsang is like meeting up with the spiritual people in a larger gathering with a Guruji. Is that what satsang is about?
Satsang has 2-3 connotations. So first, to begin with, definitely a master who is able to interpret the scriptures, because scriptures cannot be studied by own self, because the master will only, because it's an implied meaning. The scriptures are known to have a literal meaning, which is saying, it is trying, the whole teaching is handling of the words the master is giving. And that what has happened, even for the preparation of the mind, you require guidance. In every field of life, you require a teacher. Whether an advocate, you have to join somebody and work under him. A chartered accountant, you have to do horticulture. For a doctor, you have to be, with the doctor for so many years. Anything you see, for a music to learn, you have to have a music course. For dance to learn, you have to have so many classes. Why one is not having a teacher? For these objective sciences, you need every science to learn. You need a teacher. To really learn, to unravel the secrets of life, you think you will do it by yourself.
Okay.
Where the seeker is a sort. Where the whole thing is learning about the very subject, the very experiencer. And that very experiencer does not have a mind to really do what is to be done. The whole knowledge is different. And therefore, without that satsanga means association with such janas, definitely. And then ultimately, satsanga is to be able to hear Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana of the whole Shruti. Shravana is listening to the scriptures from the master, whether it is Ramayana or Mahabharata, Gita or Upanishads. There's a dialogue which is happening between the people, because the problems of the mind, the confused mind, has to be removed, because the thinking has to be generated. How to think also has to be taught, and it is not that scriptures are putting some by force something, you have to swallow what it is being said. Yukti is there, mananam is there. You really think through what is being said, whether it is appreciable by this mind or not, whether it is in keeping with the universal truth, not the truth of my own mind. Satyam and Ritam are the 2 words used. Ritam vadishyami, Satyam vadishyami. Ritam is that truth which is universal truth, not just the Satyam which is my own mind thinks that is true. That is also important, but that truth has to be in consonance with keeping with universal truth.
So whenever we say thinking, or for example, we are often used to make this statement, I think. Are there 2 things here? Is the I separate from the one who is thinking? Do we have 2 people inside us?
now we are going into Vedantic discussion. So I think I is the Chidabhas. Once this person, this I, which the mind, so Antakarana Chatushtaya, there is Mana Buddhi Chitta Ahankara. Mana Buddhi Chitta Ahankara. So you are talking of Ahankara here is I am the doer. That identification with that mind, that function of that mind, where this Atma is considered to be the doer, this Chidabhasa, this person is taken to be the doer, the I. First you do that, and then with that, the whole functioning of the mind of thinking happens. So that identification itself of Atma which is all pervasive, with that one body mind sense complex, it identifies. And then the all Kriya Kalapa of the Jagat begins. I becomes a Paramata, and something I objectify is Prameya. So Pramata, the knower, Prameya, the object to be known, and Pramana through the instrument of knowledge. So this is what I think means. There are no two things, it is not. Your question, I take myself to be that, only that and that alone. That is that the truth of that is this Chidabhasa is nothing but Chit. The reflection of the original sun in the water pot filled with water, that reflection cannot be other than the sun. Reflection cannot be without the sun, isn't it? So that reflection is due to the sun, and that cannot be different from the sun. I take only because of an adjunct upadhi, a pot, that I take the reflection to be me. And I don't know about anything about the real truth of that me, that it is the very sun.
Because we always hear whenever people, ordinary people meet yogis, they will ask many questions. And one of them is like, for example, when a person in the satsang, and it's conducted by Jiddu Krishnamurti, J. Krishnamurti, and this person gets up and says, my soul. And then immediately Jiddu Krishnamurti says, which soul? Right soul or left soul? Like he was referring to the footwear. And I mean, he acted as though he didn't understand what the other person was saying. And the other person struggles a lot to say, no, I'm not talking about that soul. I'm talking about, then he keeps on making fun of him. So we have this often because we have copied it from others. Even though I may not be spiritual, I can yet talk about it. And when we say my soul, it looks to us as though there is a my and a soul separately, and we do not know who is speaking. Or for example, we did not even know, even if I have to seek something, if I have to seek reality or salvation, whatever, I do not know what is starting, what is the one, or which is the one that is actually seeking. Is it the ignorant is seeking? And if the ignorant is seeking, how can the ignorant seek? Because it doesn't know the truth. So what is actually seeking?
The one who has question of life, he is seeking. Definitely everybody, the one who is seeking is one's own truth. Who really am I? This body, mind, sense complex, where it has come from? What is the truth of it? What is the nature of it? Who is the experiencer? Who is the very doer and enjoyer? And that is, you see, all these questions, the right terms and terminologies, comes only by growing into satsang, learning, shravana, slowly, one step by step. And then only this discussion can happen. The people who are into the field, they understand where are you coming from? What are you asking? What is the question of life and how it can be? So the nature of the problem, who is this person? What is the experience? Already that the nature is of the problem is to be determined first. And Upanishad, Bhagavad Gita, everywhere you will find it will unfold that. In Gita, Bhagavan unfolds in the second chapter when the teaching begins. He unfolds the nature of Atma from the Ashochyananda Chochastam till the 30th shloka, the Sankhya Buddhi. Sankhya Buddhi means the nature of the Atma is being unfolded. And then later on, in the very same chapter, Yoga Buddhi is explained how to gain, how to prepare your mind to gain that Yoga Buddhi is gained. So that is why it is said that without the scriptures and without the teacher, both are equally important. Because scriptures cannot be self-learned, and a teacher who's teaching from his own mind without the help of the scriptures, both are not required. Both, the combination of both is what is desired. Then only the real thinking will happen, right kind of questions will come, and you know what it is all about.
There have been cases where the person who transformed completely, they did not have any prior satsang or meeting up with somebody. Like in the case of Valmiki meets the Saptarishis.
It is something like that Angulimal thing, what you say, same answer.
Okay. There are instances where, like the Buddha, the Buddha when he was the Prince Siddhartha, he was not, everything about the spiritual side of life was concealed. He was not allowed to, they kept it away from him because there was an astrological prediction that one day he'll become a sannyas. But in spite of that, as soon as his son was born, something happened to him and he straight away walked out of the palace and never came back. And he had gone straight into it where there was no satsang, there were no teacher at all. But of course, we know that he did have teachers after that. The same is, there must be several such situations. So can we conclude that if a person of that level becomes sannyas, then at that level, even without formal training in any ashram, there must have been an extraordinary karmic reason for it.
Definitely, some karmic reason must have been there in the life of Siddhartha.
Okay.
And his growth to a Buddha. We say always, when you have proper exposure, Vedas are the Nishwasa of Ishvara. And therefore, like any technical equipment to handle, you require a manual. To operate this body-mind sense complex, it has been given, body has been given, and the manual in the form of the Vedas also with the 4 Purusharthas is given. To really come to terms with what is this all about, what is one seeking, how to go about it, without the scriptures and the teacher, without a guide, it is impossible. So in Buddha's life, he never had one guide and he just tried to do himself the whole thing. And that is why it was very tough. Ultimately, he got it.
Okay.
But his seeking would have been simpler if he would have followed, with the Shraddha. Shastrasya Guru Vakyasya Satya Buddhya Avadharana Sa Shraddha Katita Sadhi Yaya Vastu Palabhate is said in the Vivek. That are imminent. That what they are saying is truth. And that is what is important. That is called Shraddha, the basic trust. Once you give that basic trust, then what is the teaching all about? It unfolds, and then you start understanding the whole thing. So, how it goes around, the difficulties with Buddha phase, as you are mentioning. So, therefore, it is always advisable to go with the teaching. Trust in the teaching, trust in the teacher. And therefore, there's a whole sampradaya. a tradition to be understood. People are interpreting the tradition also in their own way. That is why everything, Upanishad Bhashyas are there by Shankaracharya, by Veda Vyasa Brahma Sutra Shankar Bhashya. Acharya is called because he has written Bhashyas on it. Bhagavad Gita Bhashya. All three Prasthana means the whole Sampradaya, the whole purport of the teaching is being made clear through that Prasthana. And that is why, how does one take whatever lifetime and his karmic karma was there, and the way he method he employed, whatever is there, ultimately he did it. But it will be easy for a rational mind to really follow the teaching and the whole methodology which is given. Trying to figure out through your own mind, you may really go astray. You know? Buddha got it, does not mean you will also get it. Means mind researching, okay, by oneself I will study what is E is equal to MC square.
Okay.
How physics can be. So I will myself create all that, whatever has gone. I will myself try to understand. I will not follow any teacher. The whole physics I will learn myself. That is the attitude there. You are understanding what I'm trying to say?
Yes.
So this is a I am that is also Aham Brahmasmi is also an equation to be unfolded. And that methodology is already given. The rishis, Vedas, in the Vedas, Bhagavad Gita, everything is given. Why you have to find, you don't trust that and you find your own way through your own mind. That is why it is always advisable. That is why Upanishad is also saying approach a guru. Mundaka Upanishad says, Pariksha lokan karmachitan brahmano nirvedamaya nasti akritakritena. Tad vijnanartam sa gurum eva avigachet. Samit pani shotriyam brahmanishtam. In this one mantra, he says that after examining all the experiences of your life, after examining all the karma phalas, the experiences of sukha dukkha in your life, then a brahmana, a mature mind, really analyzes and sees, and he should have nirveda, vairagya, that which is anitya. Karma phala is anitya. After analyzing, he comes to understand that karma phala is anitya. It's not permanent. What I want is permanent. I want happiness always, here also, here and now, and even tomorrow also, at every place. Then he should nirveda maya, and this understanding is nasti akrita kritena. That moksha is not gained by karma, by any doing. Akrita, uncaused, cannot be created. That is already free. And to understand this, Saguru meva vigacche. Tad vijnanatham. Tat sat vijnanatham. To understand that sat vijnan artham, for the sake of understanding, sa brahmana, mature mind, the one who has really analyzed this life, he has to approach Guru.
Okay.
Gurum eva. Upanishad is stressing.
Only.
Eva vigacche. Within, and what kind of a guru is also said? Shrotriyam Brahmanishtam Gurum eva avigacche. Shrotriyam, the one who has in the Sampradaya, who has really gained the knowledge in a traditional manner, sitting at the feet of the teacher, understanding the whole tradition, the Sampradaya, the methodology, has really cleared all his doubts. And then he's Brahmanishta, he's really not seeking anything else, he's establishing oneself. And in this one mantra, he tells also the attitude, Samit Pani. He should approach with approaching to a teacher, whatever he requires in his life at that point of time, with that kind of an attitude that I'm here to serve you. Seva. So that I am available for a dialogue. So that the dialogue also will be samvada, not vada, not jalpa, not pitanda. These are the four kinds of dialogue. I am here. I am I'm serving you, and therefore a dialogue through which I will be able to learn what you have. That's Sadbuddhi, that's Sadvastu. This whole complication of my life, understanding of myself. And therefore, this is clearly given in the Vedas. Why don't we really understand that what is the method, what is the means, what is the way? I can go on and on this. So, okay, fine. You can. Guru becomes a very important in seeking, because a teacher, and without the teacher to unfold Lakshartha, implied meaning, you cannot have. And with that, the whole system is there. A teacher has to really form a new whole. You took the name of Jiddu Krishnamurti. So he had to formulate and define every word what he spoke. What he formulated the word, he had to define from what context, where he's speaking from. Already the whole system is there.
Okay. Why reinvent?
Why to create the no? In astrology also already so much of rishis are there, paramparas are there, tradition is there. Why do you follow new rules, new things, new without a tradition? That who is not following the tradition definitely goes wrong, because these rishis were the mantra drashtara. They really knew it. Otherwise, you are creating havoc in the whole system. You are really spoiling the whole system.
Beautiful.
Isn't it? I think you are an astrologer, you will know.
Yes,
you will
I have stuck.
Say,
yes.
Yeah, you are stuck.
Yes.
And that is why my teacher was a traditional teacher. He never went away. Even when he spoke on Bhagavad Gita, his whole 9 volumes of Bhagavad Gita home study course, which is available in English, 9 volumes, everything is whatever is commented upon in the classes is through Shankar Bhashya.
You're referring to Swami Chinmayananda.
Swami Dayananda Saraswati.
Dayananda Swami. Okay. Dayananda Swami. Okay. Swamiji, in Bhagavad Gita, at one point, Sri Krishna, the God incarnate, tells Arjuna that there are 2 paths, the path of the materialistic and the path of the spiritual person. And he says, both lead to me. Finally, they lead to me. And he also lays a lot of importance on one's karma, that it is better to do one's own karma than do the karma of another person. And in spite of saying so much about the process of enlightenment and the process of sannyasa, when Arjuna says, in that case, I'll become a sannyas, he says, no, you have to fight this war first. So are we not, most of us, not in a situation like that, where we still have to do our job instead of going towards the spiritual path and trying to seek moksha?
See, this question, first of all, let me make it clear. This speech are to be really understood. They are not material. Nothing is material. Everything is in Sarvam Brahmamayam. If you understand, if you really understand that, Brahmamayam. So, first of all, Gita, Veda itself, Pravritti Marga, Nivritti Marga, there are 2 paths. This should be understood properly. So Pravritti Marga given in the Vedas, and that is very well depicted in the shloka in the 3rd chapter by Bhagavan. Lokesmin dividha nishta pura prokta mayanaga jnana yogena sankhyanam karma yogena yoginam. So asmin loke dividha nishta prokta, told by me, pura prokta. Pura means even before, in the Vedas also, not now.
Okay.
Maya, said by me. Jnana yogena sankhyanam. Sankhyanam sannyasinam, Shankaracharya. Sankhya is sannyasis. Through the Jnana Yoga lifestyle. That is Nivritti Marga. Going away. Just following one role. One role of Shishya, of a student of life, and everything else you give up. Another one is Karma Yogena Yoginam, Grahastinam, Karminam. Another is while playing all the roles, you don't give up.
Okay.
Inclusive of all the roles, you play the role of a student, a Shishya, a Bhakta, prioritize that role. Because clarity of purpose is there, both in both the roles, with both the lifestyles. Purpose is to find yourself. Your purpose is as a grahastha or my purpose as a sannyasi, they cannot be different purposes. Purpose of every human mind is the same. Lifestyle to attain that purpose is different. You understand?
Okay.
So grahastha karma is so I was giving an example in my classes. So if you are a medical student and you are pursuing MBBS course of study, you have a choice. In some courses, there is a choice that you can study from home, playing all the roles. And in some course, you just go to the hostel, give up all other roles, pursue only the role of, prioritize only the role of a student.
Wow.
But both the places, study is of utmost importance. If you give up the study at home, you get mixed up in all the other roles, you don't prioritize your role of study, you will fail. In college, sannyasa, if you get into politics of college, in elections, in ashrama lifestyle, if you get into politics, in matha administration, you will fail. Because the purpose, why you are there, for what you are there. In both the lifestyles, same way, for Brahma Vidya to be attained, for really to understand, Atmavare Drashtavya, Shrotavya, Mantavya, Nididhyasitavya. It's clearly Yagyavalkya said, Shravana Manana Dhyasana is the only way. Study. Shravana is listening, study with the teacher. And in both the lifestyle, you have to find time for satsanga. Inclusive of all the roles in Grihastha Ashrama, exclusive of all the roles in Sannyas Ashrama. But the mind is, so in both the lifestyle, Pravritti Marga, more of Upasana first to really prepare the mind. And once you prepare the mind, you are there more for as a Shishya, Shravana Manana Nidhyasa. Common Shravana Manana Nidhyasa and common to both the Margas. People think Shravana Manana Nidhyasa is not my, I am doing my duties and that's all. There are all the dharmas levels are there. At the level of body, mind, sense complex, your dharma towards your own body. At the level of family, your dharma towards your duties towards your family. At the level of society, at the level of state, at the level of citizen, country, at the level of globe, at the level of universe, total Ishvara. These many circles, concentric circle I drew, all that every level you have a role to play. And what is the importance is what you are seeking in an objective yourself. Not that at the cost of all the roles. While playing all the roles, what Bharata did? Bharata brought the Padukas, he placed them on the Simhasana. He says, I am your Dasa, your Bhakta. And first, I am your Dasa, Bhakta first. And then I will play the role of a king whenever I have time. What we do? We play all other roles. The basic role of being a devotee of Ishvara, because individual cannot be without the total. Can the wave be without the ocean? Your existence, your very astitva is only because of the ocean. The jiva is there only because of the Ishvara.
Correct.
How can you say, so with that, prioritizing your primary basic relationship, your identity, there's a confusion about identity, therefore there is a confusion about duty. Once you have confusion about your identity, your confusion about duty is there. And that is why first Arjuna was to get the identity crisis, fixation there. And that is why Jnanam was given to people first. Knowledge of what you have to really gain. What is the nature of the problem? There you are going wrong. Unless you know what is your identity. Arjuna. So from that standpoint, one teaching is given, unfolded. Then dharma will be clear. So what I'm trying to say, both the lifestyles is meant for growth of the mind, maturing the mind. And therefore, whether it is this lifestyle or that lifestyle, where you are, what is the kind of your mind, that is what. So even Gita is not, it is according to the person, the adhikari, what you are adhikari for, how, what you are qualified for, this or that. Everybody has to qualify to gain this understanding first, has to have all the qualifications, which is called sadhana trishishta sampatti, viveka vairagya, samadhi shakta sampatti and nishchita. These are the basic qualifications for anything, any subject matter, for so to say, for this life to be straightened up. These are the basic qualifications. Whether in Grihastha Ashrama or whether in Sannyasa. Whether in Nivritti Marga or whether in Pravritti Marga. Hardly matters. I think I'm clear.
Yes, Guruji. So in whichever path we are, at least the basic, what runs through both should be the dharma, right? The right way, the best way. And this should be followed. So at least that we should do in either of them, right? In, either we are following this path or that path. That's wonderfully said. And thank you so much for giving us this wonderful knowledge. And we look forward to meeting you many more times in the future. And
my pleasure.
If you have
my pleasure.
If you have some final message for all our viewers, what would be that?
I would only say to learn what is this Sanatana Dharma, what is the hidden treasure, what is our real heritage of this Sanatana Dharma. It is the Dharma which is to be pursued. The Dharma is already, it is not in terms of any religion or this and that. Everything is given in our Prasthana Traya, the Veda, Upanishad. Pursue that systematically, methodically, and you will gain what is to be gained in life. One day you will arrive. That's it. Yeah. That's it.
Thank you so much, Swamiji.
Yes.
We'll meet again.
You will then complete with the Shanti Mantra.
Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah, Sarve Santu Niramaya, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhag Bhavet, Asato Ma Sadgamaya, Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya, Mrityo Ma Mritangamaya. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.
Thank you, Swamiji. We had a wonderful session.
Thank you.